it is time for us now. Obviously, on Chaos TV, have our first interview today. I think it's our main interview. Well, for us anyway. We've got Matthew later, haven't we? With us now on Chaos TV, we have the wonderful Nicola Bird. Nicola is the founder and managing director, of AccXel, and she's here with us today to talk about her career and how AccXel can help others start their careers in the construction industry. Hello, Nicola.
Hello, very nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I do remember, actually, I believe we bumped into each other a little bit up at Gloucester, didn't we?
We did. That was a fun event.
It was a great event. Now, you have to excuse me. I'm going to do my best to get through this. My voice is going south. So bear with me. If I go silent, I may go to Elz to go take over because I might just end up completely silent.
That's not a good idea. You can struggle through. You can do it.
I will struggle through. Right, so can you tell us in your own words, what is AccXel?
Okay, so AccXel is the UK first co-funded industry-led construction school. And when I say co-funded, it means that it is a collaboration between private sector and public sector, but being led by industry to provide all the industry needs to support the new skills that we need in our industry for net zero, new skills, green skills, leadership and development. But everything our industry needs is being led completely by industry.
Fantastic. Very forward thinking by the sounds of it. So what was the inspiration behind the company?
So I am third generation of quite a large construction business, family business. Founded by my grandfather 55 years ago. He's still in the business just about, and my father is a managing director, and one day it will be handed down to me. But when we were looking at succession planning, it was really obvious to us that actually there wasn't a business plan that was viable without the skills and the people that we need to grow or even maintain our portion of the market. So it was essential that we started to build and create an environment where we could bring people into construction, bring them in through the business, so we can basically sustain the legacy of our own family business that has been running for the last 50 years.
I think there's a lot of, it's where a lot of companies fail, isn't it? They don't think about how to maintain what they've got because you find something that works and you run with it. But the problem is people are then a bit afraid to come out of what's working and think, oh, it'll keep working. Well, no, you need to keep thinking of the future, of the industry, of your company specifically. And it looks like you're all over it. So could you tell us a little bit more specifically about your role there? Could you tell us what you do, what your daily ins and outs are?
Okay, so the building is being built at the moment. So I've been on quite a journey. I started looking into apprenticeships 4 years ago and created a case study of what we needed. So basically built a bespoke apprenticeship for our business. And then I found that it was really successful 2 years later, and we had 15 graduates out of 23 apprentices, which is a really good retention rate in FE colleges. Then I wanted to do something bigger. The goals got bigger, the ambitions got bigger, but I didn't have any funds to do it. And I was successful in applying for a bid, which was called the Getting Building Fund bid, which actually arrived through the COVID pandemic because it was all about building back better and trying to get the economy running again. And then we were given 1.6 million from government to build AccXel, and we've co-funded that to the tune of £1 million of our own money. So my role at the moment is building the business, building the brand, but also building the building, which I've never ever done before and didn't think that I would have the capabilities of doing it. But we now have a £3 million school, which is about to open in 5 weeks.
Wow.
I mean,
you don't really hear about this sort of side of your type of business, and I mean it's fantastic to actually have an eye opener and also to see how much you're doing. Number one, to train other people as well into the business, in construction, shall I say. It's really good to hear, and it's really nice to hear about the green initiatives as well.
Absolutely. So how did you get into your position? You must have had quite a career path.
Well, I had my kids quite young, and after I had my second daughter, I just joined the family business as an administration clerk. doing sort of part-time hours around childcare, and I sort of was sticking my nose in different parts of the business because I wanted to know how it functioned. Causing a little bit of challenging conversations along the way. Probably sticking my nose in where it wasn't wanted, to be quite fair. And sort of challenging the norm, I guess. I just don't want to take things for granted. And I'm always questioning. And I'm really happy to put my hands up there and say, I don't know, what does this mean? And challenging people on some of their assumptions. Then got into the sort of the world of health and safety, because I knew that was a niche within our business that nobody really wanted to take on, but health and safety was becoming quite substantial within construction for winning tenders. And then I went to university part-time for 3 years and got a degree. And that was something I never thought I'd be able to do, because I dropped out of my A-levels. I absolutely hated school. And then sort of gained my confidence, and then was promoted to director in 2018. And then that started sort of the succession planning and looking on how we create something, how I evolve, how the business evolves, how construction evolves. And that was it in a nutshell, really.
I mean, as far as a nutshell goes, that's a pretty, that's still...
That's a pretty packed nutshell.
That's a lot to go through. It's really fantastic. I like the way you say you're being nosy. I think that's how you learn, though, isn't it? If you want to know more about the way your business works and you want to progress, you need to know what goes on. I mean, out of I consider what I do nosy, and Owen knows this better than any. I will ask him so many techie questions. I've got a techie background. I go, how does this work? How does this route through here? How does the desk do this on your side? How do you control things on this side? I'm totally not trying to take over control, honestly. But that's how you learn, isn't it? If you want to know about the company, you need to ask the questions and find someone who's willing to talk to you about it. So a bit of I feel like you're challenging the stereotype, and I hate stereotypes. Could you tell us a little bit about, obviously, your experience now as a successful woman in the construction industry? Because I can imagine there were some challenges there.
Oh, yeah, huge challenges. So when I sort of started my development within health and safety, it was all about growing a culture and creating a culture around good practice, behavioural practices. And as you can imagine, a workforce of about 300 at the time. It's double that now, but
wow.
It was a real challenge from coming into an industry as a woman and not very experienced, trying to tell men how to do their jobs. And it really was sort of an effort of trying to get people on board, again, sort of holding my hands up of the vulnerabilities I've got, but bringing them on the journey with me. And it has been a challenge. And up until, just creating AccXel, there's always barriers in the way. I think women generally have this imposter syndrome where they don't think that they're capable of doing things, or they're really sort of down on themselves and quite critical and analytical of the things that they do, where men can tend to be a bit more bolshy and have more confidence. So I think the more we do as women, and the more we can see women doing things around us, it just gives us that bit of confidence. And I just take a leap of faith. I've got rid of that sort of fear factor. I'm not worried about making an idiot of myself anymore, where I was really conscious about that in the past. But making mistakes is where I've actually grown the most.
Exactly. I mean, if you learn from your mistakes, that is at the end of the day, no matter who you are in this world. If you can actually learn from your mistakes, should I say, we all make mistakes. We're only human, regardless of being men or women, or otherwise, So yeah, fair is fair. Take your mistakes, accept them, learn from them, move on, and you get to positions like where you are yourself.
Absolutely. Do you think it had any influence on sort of how you approach tasks and?
Yeah, sort of having I hate stereotypical or sort of typical phrases, but having the female touch. Sorry.
It's okay. I think whether you're male or female, so I've built my business on employing good people. So I know that I don't have to know it all, and I definitely don't know half of it. But what I do know is I can trust the people around me to do the right job and the right things, and they know the moves that I want them to take. So I think it's about having good people around you, they can know they've got the job, they've got the right attitude, and you can bring them on board and take them on the journey with you. But how you approach things, that can be applicable for men and women.
couldn't agree more. I mean, here at Chaos, we've all said it. As much as we have banter in it, it'll hurt me now to say this, but I do love everyone here, and we all get on really well. Well, that's as much as they're ever getting from me for this month, I'll tell you. But it makes a huge difference, doesn't it? You have that team, you have almost that family sort of feel to it. If people have that natural click, or they work and they've got a good attitude, it makes everything work, and each other works so much better and happier. Can we move over to some of these training programs you mentioned now, Nicola? Could you tell us a little bit more about what trainee programs that are offered there at AccXel?
Yes, love to. So the three main ones we're offering at the start are groundworks and civil engineering, bricklaying, and the first ever JCB plant operations trainee program, which is really exciting. So JCB are a big brand partner of ours, and they're providing us with all the plants to train our new generation of plant operators on, which is super exciting.
Fantastic. I love that JCB one. I used to sit on the hedge as a kid and watch the JCBs in the backfield. Sorry, bit of a tangent there, but I always think about that whenever anybody mentions JCB.
What child doesn't have JCB?
I mean, my mum used to give me you get like a newspaper cone of chips. That was me on the back garden. That's it. I feel I'll move on. Sad little child anecdotes. Leave them to the side a minute. Sorry, Els. I'll leave you with your question.
It's fine. So when we say like construction, how much does that range? Like, are there multiple fields?
Good point.
Yeah, so it's vast, huge, and that's exactly what we want to do at AccXel, is trying to open up people's eyes to the different opportunities there are. So just look at my journey, for example. Training administrator, health and safety, project managing, building a project now, director. But you've got roles in marketing, sales. It's not just your wet trades, it's not just your boots on the ground. You've got so many technical aspects as well. And, we should offer all these opportunities up to men and women equally, and every other sort of descriptive of any other groups that are sort of not engaged in these programs. We need to get them on board as well.
Well, considering that kind of range that's available, who would you say that these programs are good for, are perfect for? Obviously, people looking to start in construction, it's naturally going to be great for. But what about people, say, who want to retrain?
Yeah, so it's ideal for them. So our applicants that are actually coming through now, a lot of them are career changers, and I'm really excited to see these applications when they're coming in. And we've already got a handful of women that are changing their roles and going in. The JCB Plant Ops is a really keen one for career changes at the moment. So that is going down really well.
I can imagine. It's definitely something I would look at doing. I don't know what it is, but big heavy machinery, driving it around seems like fun to me.
I can't imagine you behind the wheel of anything other than your car.
Hey, look, I drive that thing all right,
you're
don't I?
Scary enough in the car. Let's not give you power tools.
All right, let's not talk about this on the radio.
What are the goals at AccXel? What do you hope to achieve?
Ooh.
So AccXel was formed on essentially three pillars, and they are Inspire, Train, Connect. So a massive goal that we need to do in our industry is inspire new people to come in. So we can put on as many courses as we want, but if we're not inspiring people to get in the industry, they're absolutely pointless. So it's a big school engagement program. It's inspiring them to want to take on construction as a career challenge. And then training up our existing workforce and upskilling them and taking them into leadership management roles. So basically, we need to move people up in our industry so we can bring the fresh blood in. And then it's connecting industry with education. So education world, it tends to be a little bit behind the industry world. So by connecting the two, we're really accelerating the skills we need and pushing forward all the new initiatives and all the innovation that we need to make our industry a lot more efficient and more productive.
Obviously I'm not in construction, I never have been, but I find that quite often that education and the industry quite, a fair gap behind. Definitely was when I was in web development. I did web development training all the way through, and I went straight into industry, and it was like I hadn't learnt half of it. It didn't make sense. I think a lot of things that need to be done are like what you're doing, which is having the training as part of your company, and it clearly helps you get the right type of skills in. So it makes sense to do it. I just think people need to take the plunge a little bit more, really. All obviously about AccXel. Where can anyone find more information if they're watching right now?
Okay, so the main place to find information is on our website, which is www.accxel.co.uk. We have many employer partners involved. So looking at our trainee programs now, which are running for 2022, we already have 20 employer partners. So it's not just KW Bell who are putting people through. We have these employment opportunities already available and already set up. So anybody who wants to come and join construction, we've already done the hard work. We've got the employers involved. We've basically done the interview and the application for you. And that job's ready and waiting for you to grab it with both hands. So doors are open, and we just need the applications to come through and the people to come in and join us.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Nicola, I must admit, I've never really talked to anyone much about construction, and it just feels like there's almost like a stereotypical, it just sort of it chugs along. This is so very, very different to what I've always thought, and it's lovely to see the kind of approaches you're taking on a green level, on a training level. It really is quite lovely, and it's great to talk to you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Fingers crossed we can have you back on the show another time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Nicola. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Learned a lot there. Learned quite a lot. That was a lot more than I expected from any kind of construction firm.
I feel like people kind of forget, I think it's similar with a lot of industries, people forget just how many roles go into a company.
Absolutely. I mean, even with the smallest companies, you still end up doing a level of admin work. And then if you've got training and all those different types of training, you've got to have people who are at the top of their level to be able to give training in each of those. The list goes on and on. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much to Nicola for that.